How's it? Today is Wednesday, June 4th. We have a clean and jerk day today. I did one set of back squat at the end, and honestly, I thought I would be back on regularly scheduled programming today, but that just was not the case. I think I don't know, my time management today was atrocious. I wanted to go into the gym today at like 8 something. So I had a client today at 12, and so I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to do everything, but I ended up going at like 9:30 or something like that. And it's like I was awake, I just didn't want to go. And that's one thing, is to not be awake and not be like rested enough to go. It's a whole nother thing to have like the motivation to, or lack of motivation to show up. And I don't really feel like that very often. So today was just a weird start overall. Started off with the thrusters here, going up to just 100 instead of incrementing it, just because I'm still not very confident with this movement. It still feels very, very weird. Like I failed this first set at 100, and across the last like 3 weeks, like I've done 100 a handful of times. I've definitely done a double of 100, and I just couldn't do it today on the first attempt. On this one, it was a lot better, and actually the second rep was better than last week's second rep for the thruster. So that's a positive sign. Um, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna increment this anytime soon, just because still feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Um, that's I don't know. I don't really pay too much attention to the thrusters. I'm really using it as a warm up for my upper body, and maybe I should focus a little bit more energy into technical execution of it. But there are moments where I can do them pretty well. It's just, I guess, not at weight. For my complex today, we're doing power clean plus hang clean plus jerk, going up to 114 today. Today was the first time since the first day that I ended up using my belt, and I think I definitely know I put on the belt today because last week was pretty challenging just to hit the correct height on the power cleans, and I think it was pretty helpful today for my 114. Another note was my foot was slipping a shitload. My right foot, my back foot, was slipping a ton. You'll see on the reps where it does slip. I like, not only does it look bad, like the execution of the lift, but when I put the bar down, I'm like trying to figure out where my foot is slipping. And that is honestly pretty dangerous. I think, aside from me not having the good like technical execution on the jerk, it is pretty dangerous if my foot slips. So if my foot slips, then I don't have the proper support as a base, as foundationally support, right? My first set right here. That was definitely a power. But yeah, if I don't have the proper support, then it's very hard to have anything else be correct, because now you're just compensating for a moving foot. And like right there, you see that? It's not good. It like it's I want to say it's not even slipping a half inch. It's not. It might even be less than a quarter of an inch where it's slipping, but any amount is bad. So I'm trying my best. You see the little brown thing by my shoe in the back on that left 3/4 angle? That's a piece of like paper towel that's wet, a wet paper towel, and I've been using it to kind of clean my shoe. It's kind of a look at me complain. It's kind of a secret tool that I've been using for many, many, many years. I don't know what the fuck that was. That was weird. I had height to get the power. I just couldn't push up from that position, so I had to get all the way under. But yeah, it's a tool I've been using for many, many years. I found that whenever my shoe is starting to get slippery, it is really mostly due to the shoe being dirty, not because the shoe doesn't have enough traction or anything like that. Right? Ooh, I come back and I make a good one. So yeah, that's like something I was trying to deal with today. And aside from that, I don't really think about too much on these cleans. I think moving forward, I will try my best to get to a little bit better full extension for both my. Oop, didn't leave you hanging there, buddy. For both my knees, I guess mostly my knees. I think my hips get to extension pretty well. My knees are definitely the area where I could use the most improvement. I know I replied to someone's comment. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but when I was kind of looking at that, it's like I was explaining it in a way where it was the extremes on both sides of the spectrum. So if I get to proper extension, and I have good positioning, that is always going to be better than if I'm really far from the bar with good extension, or if I'm really close to the bar with bad extension. So I mean, of course, I had like 4 variables there, or 2 variables, like plus or minus, right? So 4 different things you can kind of control for, and if you have the best of all 4 of those things together, the kind of perfect amount of extension with the perfect amount of positioning, then that is going to give you the best opportunity to execute and make the lift. So that is something I am trying my best to get to moving forward. Today's clean panda pulls were a little bit different because last week I remember as I get to extension, catching the weight back on my hips or on like my upper leg before it gets to the ground was kind of scary, and that's where I ended up hurting my lower back. Like I felt a little twinge in my hinge, squinge, linge, pinge. I don't know what the word is. I felt it in my lower back with like 80. And so kind of as I go up in weight, it just got worse and worse and worse. And so today I'm making a point of not really allowing the weight after I get to extension to pull back down, pull, or me having to support the weight on my hips as I goes back down. It's worth noting at this point in the session, I was rushing tremendously. You can just see like from the clean and jerk portion to the pulls, my body is starting to get a little bit more shiny, like a little wet dolphin, and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse because I am trying to rush to make sure that I am not late to my client today. And so what that means is as I go up for my back squats, I do all the warm-ups in one set, which is not great, but it's definitely not unusual for me. The goal was to do 3 sets of 5 at 144. I think if I had enough time, I would have been able to do all 3 of them, but I ended up just doing the 1 set, and it was pretty challenging. I think another thing that probably would have made it a little bit easier was using my belt, but I know Steve is trying to get me to use the belt a little bit less, and I feel like if I just had enough time to rest between sets, I would have been able to do all 3 sets of 5, even though this individual set was extremely challenging. And this is the moment I was like, oh, I'm just going to call it a day. So I just was like, okay, I'm going to just pack everything up and head over to the gym that I train at. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shoots.